A lot of people ask me, where did this all begin? And I can tell you exactly where it began. It began in my family. It began with my dad, who was a military chaplain. The worship experience that I grew up in was not just one specific local church situation. It was exposed to liturgical, traditional, what at that time was considered contemporary. I remember the summer before I went into my undergrad studies in music. I really had a desire to be a singer-songwriter, moved to Nashville, hit it big like everybody else does. I was studying music, I'm learning how to sing opera stuff, all of that stuff. But at nighttime, to earn money, I was still singing in pizza parlors, singing James Taylor, singing John Denver, singing Neil Diamond, singing all the big songs of the day. But still trying to get that word of Christ in those sets whenever I could. Graduated with that music degree and was just gonna take off and go to Nashville. I didn't know how I was gonna get there, and I didn't know how I was gonna do it. I wound up working clubs. I was working 6, 7 nights a week. Finally, I just got burned out on all of it. I'd had a couple of songs that charted on the top Billboard Top 100. Two of my singles went up there, and it was great, but it just something was wrong for me. And so I wound up taking a break for about 6 months at a conference center way up in the Rocky Mountain. I wound up staying there for 2.5 years. And that is what I call a life gate. I walked through that gate and everything behind me, that gate shut and everything behind me was gone. And the Lord did something brand new in my life with me and my music. And I was just writing songs from my heart and from my own experience. And those songs, it's amazing. Everybody that came through that camp, this was a military officers and families camp, summer camp. These military officers would grab that cassette and they would take it to their installations. And then within the next year, I started getting all of these calls to come and sing at military installations all over the world.
Now, all the way from Franklin, Tennessee, Danny Clark.
Here I am doing concerts for troops all over the place. And part of that is outreach concerts where, they'll gather troops into the field and say, we want you to hear from this guy. They're going, what are we doing? It's almost like a worship service sponsored by the chaplain. But there were many situations where I'm booked by the chaplain to be in the chapel, and some of these were chapels that my dad served in. I remember some of these places. And here I am putting together worship services, and I'm either preaching, or I'm singing, or I'm doing both, or I'm leading the group music that for everybody to sing. Some of those were hymns, some of those were the praise songs and the worship songs of the day. And this leadership conference picks me up and says, we want you to be our worship leader for this conference. And I'm going, I don't want to put together a seminar on leading worship. Just do it. What do you mean, how to lead worship? Given this workshop on worship in Italy to Italian churches who are trying to sound like Hillsong, and I'm bringing them all together to try to go, how do we be us? I've given that workshop in Korea, I've given it in England, I've given it in Asia, I've given my workshop all over the United States. And little did I know that the Lord was beginning to create a dual ministry, a ministry of music, of declaring His praise through music, but also a ministry of teaching others how to do what I have done for all these years.